Welcome back to episode 6, and we're here with the famous Terry Papasavvas.
The beautiful
Terry's
Terry
Coffee.
Papasavvas.
The famous Instagram page as well of Terry's Coffee. How did you become Terry's Coffee, Terry?
It's all true. It's all true. Terry's Coffee. Well, like as you know, for 20 years, maybe 22 years before that, I was at another business.
Garmex?
Sorry?
Was Garmex before Terry's
Oh,
Coffee?
yeah, Garmex, yeah, tablecloths and all those kind of things. So it was supplying industrial wear to food manufacturing companies, as well as linen to restaurants and all those kind of things.
Mm.
And while I was doing that business, I was always reading a lot of books. And one of the books, many of the books I've read, like one of them was Dick Smith.
Mm.
And he was saying it's very advantageous when you start up a business to use your own name, because whatever you do, as long as it's all good, you're building up your brand, and you're your own brand. So
Yeah.
when I started this business, I said, okay, well, I'm going to do Terry's Coffee, and everyone's going to say, what's Terry's? And that just starts up a conversation.
Yeah, okay. What made you start coffee?
Well, coffee, I was always doing it. I was doing it in the garage, even in
I didn't know
the
that.
business. Yes, I was always doing it in the garage. Then as soon as I finished the other business, as soon as we sold the other business, I thought, what am I going to do? So I took about 2 years deciding. I was looking for the next big idea. And, you know, when you're trying to think of a good idea, it never comes to you.
Yeah.
You're always going to be doing something. To come up with an idea, you're always going to be doing something else.
Okay.
Very rarely you'll come up with an idea from scratch. You always got to be doing something, and then you'll notice something that's missing, something that it's not, it can be done better, or it can be done in a more advantageous way. And then you just, that's when you think about it. So for 2 years, I was trying to think of something. Meanwhile, I was roasting coffee in the garage.
Yeah.
And
It was right in front of your face.
It was. I didn't want to do it. I did think about it, but I thought, oh my God, there's so many coffee companies. Why would you do another one? You know.
That's what I was going to ask you then, because there's so many people manufacturing.
That's right. Well, coffee has become. It's like Australia's. Every country's got their own special little thing they make. Coffee's become Australia's specialty, and I think wherever you go, I think Australia pretty much has the best coffee in terms of, you know, the varieties, and everyone going out and trying to outdo each other and trying to make a better flavor, and etc. Back in the olden days, people used to just to get the cheapest coffee, you know, roast it and just serve it out, basically. But now you're experimenting all the time. Beans from different parts of the world, different combinations, different ways of roasting it, and you have a lot of different flavors out there. And that's what makes it exciting.
So that's what made you want to do it, because it was growing?
Yeah, no. So I took about the wife. I like coffee because one of the industry that I used to look after was the restaurant industry in the laundry game. And every time I used to go to one of the fine restaurants, they used to offer me coffee. And through them, I got to taste different flavors of coffee. And then through that, I started, oh, this is pretty good. I'm going to start doing it myself for me, basically. So I bought a machine and stuck it in the garage, and I was doing it for years in the garage. And then, like I said, I sold the previous business. I took about 2 years off, trying to decide what to do. Couldn't think of anything. People were still calling me and saying, oh, Terry, can you do the laundry again and all that kind of stuff? I said, no. And one guy calls me up and he says, what are you doing? And have you thought about starting up a laundry? And I said, no, I'm too busy. I'm doing roasting now. He goes, what are you roasting? I go, coffee. He goes, well, come down and bring me a bag. And that was the Bellevue Hotel in Paddington. So I took them the bag and said, oh, can you make this for us? And that's how I started Terry's Coffee.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah.
I didn't know that. How?
Yeah.
I'm a bit ignorant. I don't know how the coffee business works. How were you roasting your own beans? Where are you getting the beans from?
Okay, so basically, the beans, if you start up now, you'll buy them from an importer, and you have like, wide variety, different parts of the world of beans. For example, you've got Central America, you've got South America, you've got Africa, and then you've got Asia. So all these beans, every place where the beans come from, let's say if you want Central American, they'll have like a chocolatey taste, a caramel taste. If you want something that's got fruity, sometimes you have a coffee and it tastes a little bit berryish. That's from Africa. And then you go across to Asia, you got Indian coffee, you got Sumatran coffee, Indonesia, you got Vietnamese coffee, you got all those things. Now, so you buy different varieties and you experiment basically until you get something that you like.
So you mix the beans together?
You mix the beans together. So if you took beans from one single place, you would call the coffee single origin. It means it comes from a single place.
Okay.
Or you have a blend.
So
Most places are blends.
okay.
That's
so
how you get
coffee is its own secret blend.
That's correct, yes.
An extremely secret blend.
Yeah, very secret.
A very tasty blend.
Yeah.
yes, definitely. It took me like maybe 4 or 5 years to get to the stage where you can sort of enjoy it.
Okay.
It does take time. It does take time. There's no question about it.
Were you doing chocolate syrups as well, or was that
I'm
not doing that?
I did years before I started the coffee. I did some chocolate. I worked with a bit of chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that for a while, but I couldn't get at that particular stage. Chocolate is much more complicated, and at that stage, I couldn't get the cacao beans in Australia in smaller quantities where I can start playing with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, currently, I'm actually looking at it again. These cacao beans are being imported into Australia. Now you can buy, 20 kilos of cacao beans.
Okay.
As opposed to powder or already made chocolate.
Yeah. Okay.
And the equipment as well, they've got much smaller equipment that you can buy now and you can start from home basically. So what happened to the coffee 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the same thing is starting to happen with chocolate now.
So is that just things are getting like you're able to import?
It's more accessible.
I think maybe due to the internet and people can get in there and start searching and somebody starts importing and someone else buys off them and then they look for equipment and, the equipment I've been looking at now comes from America. Prior to that, you could only buy from Italy or a few other places. It was very, very expensive. Now the prices have come to a point where, you can stick it in your kitchen and start from scratch and develop your own chocolate.
If you need a taste tester for the chocolate in the next 2 or 3 years, I'm here.
So you're the first, mate.
Yeah.
It will take me a while. to get started, but I will do it. That's my next little step. Terry's chocolate.
Terry's chocolate.
The best.
Coffee.
Well, I don't need a different name. I just stick Terry's on everything.
Yeah, just put Terry's.
Yeah, it's the best.
Why'd you add the
Richard?
toucan?
Sorry?
Why the toucan?
The toucan. Well, the toucan is from Central America and a bit of South America.
Is that a bit of the
yeah, it's a native bird, and the coffee beans come from the ones that I use, predominantly from Central America. So that's the toucan relation to the.
Okay.
That's why, yeah.
You run a few businesses in your life. Did you go to uni or study anything, or did you just say, stuff it, let's go?
No, look, I remember I think after I finished year 12, I went to Wollongong Uni. I did computer programming there for a couple of years. Then I transferred down to UTS for another year after that. But I remember all the time I was going to do my own business, and the university was kind of in my way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I did a couple of programs. I tried to sell some sort of software and things like that at the beginning. But again, I wasn't in that field where I found anything particular to have a solution to, if you know what I mean. So I was doing things out of my head without basically the idea is you see a problem and you come up with a solution, and that's your business. You're either going to save someone time, you're going to save someone money, or you're going to provide someone a service that they can't do themselves. That's three things with in business that you're going to do. So with the software, you're always saving someone time and money by doing something quicker and more efficiently. But you need to find out what they're doing. So unless you're sort of involved in their businesses, you don't really know. And at that age, when I was like 22, 23, I wasn't really in any particular business. I wasn't seeing what other people were doing. So I kind of dropped that, and I went into sales. So I worked for a computer company for a while. Then I went to the computer company used to have software for the manufacturing industries of clothing and printing and packaging software and all that kind of stuff. And then one day, one of the companies from the packaging companies sort of hired me to do their sales work for them. And then that's when I learned most about the sales. And then once you realize sales is the number one, sales, sales is your, whatever you're doing, you're selling.
Yeah, okay.
So if you can learn sales, that's your most valuable asset.
Money talks.
If you have the knowledge to sell. So you really need to get that because you're always selling.
Can I ask?
Yes.
From when you decided to drop out from uni, obviously isn't a clear path of what you're going to do.
Yes.
Was there fear? Like what were you feeling?
No, I was excited.
Yeah. Okay.
I was really excited because I finally want to get started, and I'm going to do it. It wasn't a direct path. I started off with a kind of a partnership at the beginning. It was like
Is this Garmex or?
No. Before that, before I started with another friend of mine, then we did printing.
Yeah. Okay.
And we did probably about 2 or 3 years into that, and then from there, with one of my cousins, we did the laundry, which eventually it was done. It used to be a coin-op laundry. I used to put $2 in your $6 to wash your clothes and all that.
Yeah.
But in the back,
what year was that?
Sorry?
What year was that?
Oh, I don't know. 25, 30 years ago. I can't remember.
Things changed quick.
Yeah. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But I was armed basically with the ability to go and approach people and sell the services of laundry.
So that was your kind of skill.
Yeah, that was my skill, and that was the most exciting thing, that I wasn't scared to make the phone calls, make the cold calls, seeing the people saying, okay, this is what we do. I want to find out, you go there, you'll tell them a little bit about yourself, you find out about what they're doing, and you look for some mutual interest, which could happen right there and there, or it could happen down the track. You don't know. So that was my skill. So when I went to the laundry, then we started off, it used to be called a better laundry. Okay. And from a better laundry, then it grew from there, and we went to Marrickville.
Yeah.
And then it became like a linen for restaurants. We used to do all the top restaurants in the city, from all Neil Perry's work and all Catalina, Piers, all the places.
Yeah.
That's where I started tasting all the fancy coffees and all that stuff.
The fancy coffee, the fancy food. You could take
all the fancy food.
You could take all the girls to the restaurants and impress them.
Well, I could only take Kathy. It was too late. But then I was married.
Man, good man.
But then I was married, and again, that's another sort of. Once you get married, you have to do something. You're better off doing something for yourself.
Yeah. Were you ever afraid of it failing? Like, was there anything you thought about? Because I know some people are scared, really scared and conscious of it, and other people just go.
Look, I mean, that fear of that failure thing, it's not really a fear. You're talking from it from an angle that, okay, I haven't done it. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So there is a fear that you don't know what's going to happen after you do it. But once you do it, once you say, okay, I'm going to do this now, okay, you just go ahead and do it. Don't think about what the negatives are, what's going to happen. Oh my God, I don't have my license for this. I don't, where am I going to do it from? You know, you come up with solutions all the time. So the most important step is that first step that says, okay, I'm committing to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you take that step, and because basically when you're not in business and you see other people in business, you think that they're doing everything, you know, perfectly and smoothly, and they don't do any, everything is set up perfectly for them. That's not the truth. The reality is all businesses are all basically in the unknown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So don't assume that just because you see a business or a guy that's been there for 20 years, he knows what he's doing. He's just the person that's decided to do it. You know, once you realize that, once you decide to do it, then yes, you always have a fear. Oh my God, don't stuff it up, don't stuff it up. That's like day in, day out, but you get used to it. Once you decide to do it, you move and you do it. And then you're learning. And it's basically a non-stop learning exercise. Every week, every month, you look back on the previous month and you say, oh, geez, I didn't really know anything back then, but now I do. And then another month goes back later, oh, I didn't know what I was doing last month. So every month you're getting better and better.
Do you have, in terms of the business, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, or do you just let it grow organically? And then when an idea comes to you?
No, you need a goal.
Okay.
There's no question about it. You're going to do it, let's say, you're going to do a business and you want it to grow, and you want to live off it, and you want it to provide some kind of income, etc. You got to have a goal.
Okay.
So at my first business, I wasn't really, I just wanted to grow. It was like non-stop growth.
Yeah.
No idea, just add it on top of each other, just keep adding it, and etc.
Was this the linen one?
Yeah, that's the linen. Yeah. So the linen grew very quickly, and it became very big. And then you learn more lessons from that you can't grow too quick. And just because everyone loves you doesn't mean you can make everyone happy. So you've got to build a structure in your business as you're growing the business, as opposed just to run a business. So you need that structure. As the business grows older, the business should not depend on you. So you create a structure for the business so it's more solid. On the first business where it was Terry, and he will look after you. Yeah, you need linen. Yeah, just call Terry. And everyone used to call me, and I used to do everybody's linen. But it gets so big, but I couldn't give the same service to everyone, personal service to everyone. And then you have to start hiring people. And the minute you start hiring people, they don't care as much as you do. They don't have the same passion as you do. And then your business becomes a little bit stale. And then the other thing with Australia, as your business gets bigger, there's more forms to fill in, there's more administrative work, there's more paperwork, so you lose as you grow, the business grows, then you need to put in a proper structure to maintain whatever you're trying to start at the beginning. Yeah. Did I answer that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, this is gems, Terry.
Sorry?
This is good shit.
Yeah.
It's the bit of the Greek wisdom. It's good.
No, look, like I said, the only wisdom is don't be scared. Don't be scared of failure. Failure is a path. It's not a destination. So if you fail, it's like you've learned something. It's a stepping stone. You need the failures.
Yeah, he's got to learn from them.
Yeah, you need the failures, and you got to keep moving forward. One thing I always tell myself when everything looks bad, because whether you're in business or whether you're just in life, sometimes everything looks really bad around you. Oh my God, God, I don't want to get up.
No matter what, just keep going forward.
Yeah. I came up with things like, if you're moving through if I can use the word cheat.
Yeah, I swear, man. Fine, fuck.
Okay. If I'm in that situation, I always tell myself, you know, if you're walking through shit and everything's shit around you, you don't want to stop in the shit. You got to keep out of it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That's a good way of putting that.
You got to move forward. There's no, you know, don't trust yourself. A lot of the times the brain likes to play the victim, you know, but none of what you see around you is real. So you just got to keep moving in the same, in a direction.
Oh, you said.
Yeah, and that's where goals come in handy.
Yeah, okay.
Because goals is a destination.
Yeah, you always have something to work towards.
Yeah, but you got to see it. You got to see it as a destination. For example, if you see a goal as just a number, it's going to become more difficult to get to it. If you see the goal as a destination, and then, for example, another thing that I train my brain to do is like, all right, my first goal was like to do 500 kilos of coffee a week. So that was my first goal in this business. So I see that as a destination. What that means is that if I'm heading towards that destination, if I'm on a yacht and I've set sail and I'm heading towards that destination of my 500 kilos, which happens to be an island, for example, and I set my yacht, it keeps me focused on not losing concentration on where I'm heading. Because halfway, let's say I reach 200 kilo and someone comes and tells me, hey, Terry, have you thought about doing fencing? Or have you thought about doing, I got this friend of mine who can bring in peanuts from wherever.
Yeah.
Have you thought about doing, no, let's look at that. And all of a sudden I change direction of my yacht and start heading somewhere else, right? Because if I don't see the 500 kilos that I'm trying to achieve as my destination, and I think that's going to happen anyway, and I take my eye off the ball and start changing direction on my ship, then it's going to take much longer to get to my destination.
But how do you know that that destination is the right destination when you're writing your goal down? Because maybe peanuts is a better destination for you.
Well, and that's the danger. This is
you've got to trust yourself.
It could be not. You got to also realize the fear of missing out. That's a very bad distraction to your goals. So, for example, I set out to do my 500 kilos, and then I see the other guy selling peanuts, and he seems to be doing much better than me, and I'm missing out on profit, and then I change my direction. And then I get in there and I find out, well, it's not as good as he made it out to be. And then I got to get back to my direction. That's got the fear of missing out. It's a very powerful distraction.
Yeah.
That we all feel, especially in countries like Australia and maybe in this generation when you can see everybody else doing other stuff.
Media.
You think, oh, why am I not doing that? So, well, everybody's on holidays and lying on lounges and
like everybody's starting a podcast and
no, well, at least you've started the podcast. You could have been thinking about doing the podcast. You could have been talking about it for years and not doing it, but at least you did it.
Yeah.
And I think every interview you're doing, you're learning, you're getting a little bit better, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And you're asking better questions. You're probably going to meet different people, and through different people,
learned a lot of ideas.
Yeah, we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Be good. And we get Terry on as well.
Well, that's true. I don't know what you want to do with me. I'm a basic guy now. My life, I'm trying to simplify everything at this stage.
But that's the key, to simplify everything.
You got to simplify, You
don't want a complex life.
I'm a big believer on simplifying everything. I don't like waste. Being humble and doing the right thing.
Yeah, but they're golden gems that not many people, or I don't know, it's either like
not many
these days people will tell, or I don't know, I feel like it's lost a lot for our generation, that kind of thing.
I do agree with that. Yes.
Social media, I reckon.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best.
No.
It hasn't been the best, but it's had other advantages.
Of course. And it's something you need. especially like
So I mean, every generation had something. I mean, when I was young, they were telling us, "Oh, you watch too much TV," blah blah blah. You know, there was something. Or the Game and Watches came. I'm not sure if you remember. No, you're probably too young. before phones, before
Why did you say Tamagotchis?
before PlayStations, they used to have these things called Game and Watches. Right?
Game Watches, yeah, no.
Yeah, it's about the size of our phone, like this. And you used to buy it, and it was cost like maybe $30, $35 in the 1980s. And each of them had a game.
So it's like a Nintendo kind of thing.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Donkey Kong, they had Donkey Kong, they had little different games, and you used to have like 20 or 30 of them, you know?
Yeah, okay.
And you spend hours on them, you know, trying to get more points and all that kind of stuff. And everyone used to say back in those days, oh, those things will destroy your life, you know?
Yeah, okay.
So,
yeah, but it's like that, but on steroids in terms of...
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's also more benefits to social media than just playing games, because it helps with a lot of marketing stuff as well.
Oh, absolutely. If you're focused and you're doing something positive with it, yes, it's good. If you're purely looking at what other people are doing and you're feeling left out, then that becomes like you can get depressed from it. You know what I mean? You're seeing everyone having fun, and what are you doing? You know what I mean? That's the negative. You're using it for a positive, for a positive reason. I'm using it for a positive reason. Otherwise, would I use it? Probably not as much. I mean, there is a pull towards it. Oh, you want to see what's going on and what other things you're doing. But you know, you've got to be doing something. That's the most important thing. You have to be active. For your brain, you always got to be active. For your mind to be like creative. Nothing gives you more pleasure than starting a job and finishing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You start to do, whether it's painting something, whether it's cleaning something, where it's, if you start it and you finish it, it's when you get those positive feelings. So always important to be active, do something, start it and finish it. And that comes back to your goal. We'll say with the 500 kilos. Finish the 500 kilos, reach your goal, and then you can reset your ship or your yacht wherever you want to go. Don't set it in between. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The issue I'd have is setting a goal. So what would you say to me to help setting a goal like that, a career-wise goal?
Well, I don't know. What are you interested? So what would you do? Are we talking about this podcast situation?
We can talk about this, but in terms of like I start working next year full time. I finish my degree. I've got a job already.
Yes.
But I won't know whether I enjoy it till I start. So I feel like it's a bit hazy.
Okay. Well, how old are you now, Terry?
23.
23. Oh, you're still young. You're still in the age where everything's still pretty new to you, etc. So if you're starting with a new job, obviously you need to learn as much as you can out of it. I'm a firm believer, and that's what I tell George and Thomas as well, that, you know, at the end of the day, you got to do your own business. Otherwise, you do not want to be depending on someone else giving you a pat on the back or a kick you up the ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what happens in the companies. You know, you might do really well in the big firms, and then management changes, and they're going to restructure, and then they can leave you out in the cold, and you haven't developed enough skills to life living skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would say to you and Constance, obviously, and what I tell my kids is, yes, you're going to work, you got to save your money, and then you got to do something for yourself where you're not depending on someone. Because nothing is for sure, nothing is guaranteed these days, and it's better off depending on yourself rather than depending on someone else.
When do you think the best age for that is?
Oh, look, the earlier you start, the better.
Yeah.
But obviously, the field that you're in requires knowledge, so you can't start on your own. So you might need 10 years, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
And you might get to the 10-year period and say, oh, well, do I really want to do this, or I don't want to do this? Because you want to do things that you like. If you don't do things that you like, you know, life is going to become very
mundane.
Yeah, you won't be enjoying it much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
You want to be out there kicking goals. If you want to enjoy life, you want to feel strong, you want to feel positive, you want to be out there kicking goals for yourself. That's what gives you the greatest pleasure. You know, a little win, a little sale, a little, you know, that gives you enormous pleasure. Rather than, I mean, when I first started working, I used to work for the computer company. Oh, Terry, we're going to have your review. Someone used to fly down from Melbourne to review me, give me $2,000 extra, and then I was happy for, you know, a couple of days.
Yeah, they dangle the carrot and just above and you can't reach it.
Yeah, we like your work. We love what you're doing. We're going to give you a pay rise. Oh, well, that's good. You didn't get fired. You got a pay rise, so that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's peanuts. You're talking small amounts of money, but at the end of the day, the quicker you start, the better. Definitely. You want to start quickly.
I'm thinking about doing it, but
I think you already started some things, Constance. Is that right? The last time we spoke?
Yeah, I'm like starting. It hasn't gone full blown, but I don't know. I think I'm at a stage.
There's no rush. Don't forget, there is no rush.
Oh, I can't jump into something without like planning it. So yeah, I'll probably be a while, like a year or so anyway. But I don't know. I got to a stage. It was like this year. It was like I really enjoy what I do, but I don't enjoy doing it for someone else. And it's the same thing. Like they give you the pat on the back, they give you the pay rises, and they make you smile for a couple months, and then you're back doing it, and it just repeats itself.
Yeah, it's not an achievement. You don't get that buzz, and life should be a buzz. You know, you should be buzzed up from life. You know.
Yeah.
And to do that, basically, you want to be out there in front and doing it, and you're claiming basically the glory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where you're going to get the most out of life. It doesn't mean that it's bad. I don't want to make it sound like if you're doing it the other way, if you're just an employee, etc., it's going to be really bad. Not necessarily. We're just talking about, you know, if I were to advise someone, this is what I would advise him to. But you might get other people telling you, no, I've worked in a big company and they've been great, and you know, I've been getting a lot of money, and I've been, etc.
Oh, mine's been great. I just want it for myself, I guess.
Well, you're looking for the glory. You know, that glory is the most sort of satisfying feeling, that you're going to do something. If you start up a business on your own and you make it successful, you get immense glory. You feel immensely powerful. You know what I mean? You will attract people because your character will become like everybody wants to know you, and etc. It's a bit of a drug. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice. When it happens. It doesn't happen all the time.
Well, yeah, but that makes it, when it happens, more worthwhile. Like,
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you had a business before with a partnership.
Yes.
Would you advise going by yourself or going with a partner?
Look, I would advise go by yourself. Always.
Unlucky Taylor.
I've had partnerships and other things, and it's like human nature. When everything is going good, everybody's happy, and you guys are best friends. But things change. You're not going to avoid bad things happening. You're not going to avoid a misunderstanding. You're not going to avoid a wrong decision in business. Things are going to happen. And you might do everything else right, and you get COVID, and you have to shut down your business.
Yeah.
When things go tough, then you always tend to blame the other person, or you tend to see decisions which they made, which now seem bad, but at the time when they made the decision, it wasn't bad. But at 5 years on, you say, "Oh, well, you made that decision. If we didn't do this, then we would not be in this position right now."
Yeah.
But in reality, it's out of your control. Things happen because things happen. And again, with the analogy of being on a sailboat, you know, some days you're going to get beautiful sunny days with nice wind, and other times you're going to get storms. You just want to know when the storms happen. It's not your calling; it just happens.
You just got to get through it.
You just got to get through it. That's what you got to think. Get through it and keep a destination.
Yeah, I guess when money's involved in things as well between a few people, it all starts becoming even more amplified as well.
Yeah, well, yes, you got that thing, and you got the problem. Like, say, one person thinks that they're doing more than you, or they think that the business could not survive without you, or you're the one that's bringing all the sales, and what are they doing? And the other person will think, well, I'm the one that's doing all the work. You're just going out visiting clients.
Yeah.
You're just having lunches and drinking, and you know, things happen. They take 5 years to show up, but they do show up. So, but they've been successful partnerships. It's not always the case. There have been successful partnerships.
Why do you think, is it like 50% of small businesses fail in the first year? Something like that?
Yeah, a lot of them do, because again, they go in underfunded. Because like I said, it will never work out the way you think it's going to work. And the time which you're giving yourself to get it going, you've got to multiply it by 5 or 6 times. You know, it will never work as you want it to work, and it will never happen in the time you think it's going to happen.
You got to be patient, I'd say.
You've got to be patient. You got to be logical. You got to give it the time. And, you know, you may need to adjust the way you do things. You may find out that it's a lot harder getting customers and all those things. You got to adjust it. But once you set your sale point and you're going to get to the destination, that's your goal. How you do it, you got to come up with the ways. Yeah, you got to figure it out. Yeah.
Wow, that's good shit. I got to think about that. I got to think about a goal for myself now.
Well, you're starting work at them. Well, I think you're going to probably need, I don't know, is there any area of law that you're going to?
I'm not doing law. I don't want to be a lawyer. I'm doing finance now.
Oh, you're doing finance?
Yeah, okay, I don't want to be a lawyer. Pardon?
Which area in finance?
Right now, it's business banking for a bank that I start next year.
Taylor can help me with my small business next year.
Yeah,
that's what I'm starting next year.
You can give Constance his first loan.
Yeah, just give me a dodgy, above board loan.
No. And don't. The other thing about business, no dodgy stuff.
Yeah.
One thing in life, everything catches up with you.
Yeah.
So try and keep everything honest and simple, because you need it simple so you don't get tired, and you want it honest so you don't get caught out 10 years down the track and all the work that you put in blows out because you did something stupid at the beginning.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, so you need those two things. So keep it simple and keep it as honest. Doesn't mean you're not going to, doesn't mean you're going to do everything perfectly right from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like I said, business is, you got to be like creative, and you got to be like, come up with solutions, and take a few risks as well.
Was there any, you said the Dick Smith book.
Yes.
Like, how did you develop these ideas? Because they're pretty good.
Well, I've read a lot of books, definitely a lot of books.
What book would you say are the best to read?
Okay, so if you read like the Henry Ford book, for example.
Yeah, I think.
How he started, Henry Ford. Ford car.
Ford. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, so Henry Ford, how he started, the amount of failures he had. Everyone remembers him now. Oh yeah, he created the cars and fantastic, but the path wasn't there at the beginning. At the beginning, he started 2 or 3 companies, went broke, couple of partnerships, didn't work out. Yeah, it was a long path to get the reward of having his own company and then doing it the way he needs to do it. Same thing with Richard Branson. Everyone says Richard Branson, oh, he's this billionaire, whatever, English guy that does everything. Yes, but right at the beginning, he was selling records.
Yeah.
You know, or he was selling other stuff, and he's had a lot of failures and came close to destruction many times. So those are the things you don't read about, but that's the reality.
Yeah.
It's that mountain that you must climb, all right? To be able, no one sees you while you're climbing it. They'll see you when you get to the top.
Yeah, they see you at the top.
And they say, oh, look at that guy. He's at the top. Oh, he's so cool, you know. He's clever, or he's this. And it's not. He's not clever. He's just focused. he's hardworking, and he's kept his goals, and he worked towards his goals. That's all it is. You know what I mean? But no one will see you while you're climbing it. Nelson Mandela, that's another good book you got to read.
Yeah, I've read that book.
You read that one? So you've read that once you climb a mountain, you will realize that there are many more mountains to climb.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's no, just because you make it to the top doesn't mean that's it, I've made it now.
Yeah.
You haven't made it. You just achieved one goal.
Yeah.
From the high mountain, you will see, oh my God, I can do bigger things. I can see bigger mountains. And then you think, should I go climb them? Well, what else do you have in life to do? Are they going to move towards something, or are you going to stay and not do anything? So yeah, those books, I mean, I've got a library that's full of them. I spend a lot of time reading them out of interest, and I was learning how mostly on the psychological side, you know, not to let yourself get down, not to give up on your goals, to realize that there's many failures you must go before you reach the top. All those things are important things that no one tells you about.
Yeah, very interesting. Far out.
Yeah.
It's
not hard. It's not hard. It's just
Taylor's having a crisis now.
No, this got deep. This got deep.
He's got no hair to pull out though.
Well, I think there's one video on YouTube that pretty much summarizes, which I still listen now, maybe a reminder every few months. It is by that, what's the guy, you know him, the book that you've read? What did you say, the book that you read
Nelson
before?
Mandela.
No, the previous one. How to Grow...
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, Napoleon Hill. So Napoleon Hill has a video, still in black and white, about the secret.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that actually.
The black and white. Yeah, you got to watch it. Like I've listened to it a few times. Some people, I tell them about it, and some people think, oh, it's that book that lady wrote, that you imagine something and someone will come and give it to you. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I tried it.
I wish.
Yeah, so that's a good video. That's a good video of setting goals. The importance of goals. The importance of setting a destination and sticking to it. You know, that is probably the most important step before you start. Set your destination and don't deviate until you get there. Once you get there, you can set another destination.
Why do you think people don't set destinations anymore as much?
Because they're not out to get. They're not driven. They're not out to get anywhere.
They want the get rich quick schemes. That's big these days.
Yeah, that attracts people that think the money is created through shifty stuff, or through cleverness, or through it's not really, money's not created like that. You might have one or two people that seem to have done it like that, but money's not created with a wink and etc. I mean, the reality of the story, and like I said, that's what's important to read of these people that have made it, what they went through.
Yeah.
To realize, you know what I mean? They didn't just get there.
Yeah.
But to the person that doesn't want to put the work in, it's easy for them to discount, the person while he wasn't famous. You just concentrate on what he's got now.
Yeah.
They don't want to see what he's put in before. Yeah. So you got to read the books of other people that have made it and see what they went through to get a real understanding of the pain that you have to go through to get to where you want to go. So most people don't get anywhere. That question, that's a good question, is because they don't have a destination.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't have a destination, it'll be like, let's say I leave my house and I'm going to come to your house, Helen, and if I have a destination, I'm going to go directly there, and I'm going to make it there in the shortest possible time. If I don't have a destination and just go out of my house and I'm thinking, maybe I'll go to Taylor's, right? Then I'll see concerts along the ways, and the concert, Terry, come and have a coffee with me. So I'll go have a coffee with concerts. and then we have a coffee there. While we're there, we meet someone else and say, oh, let's go and do this. And then we'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'll never reach my destination because I've just allowed myself
To float.
deviate from my original path.
Mm.
All right. So most people don't have a path. So the minute they go out into life, they're getting distracted by everything.
Yeah.
And they get tired, they get stressed out but it's not their fault. Well, is it their fault? I don't know. I don't know. But if you're distracted, if you have no path, you're open to everything. If you're open to everything, to all directions, you never get anywhere because you don't have a direction. So you need the direction. You need to go where you're going. And like I said, if I come leave my house and I'm going to concentrate on getting to your house, and even in Costas tell me, hey, come and have a coffee, and I go, no, I'm going to Tellen's house. I'll see you after I get to Tellen's house.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? That's the difference. Don't deviate from your goal.
Yeah, that's rule number one of Terry.
That's rule number one. Yeah. It's very important.
When are you releasing your book?
Oh no. My information comes from reading books. This is not information that I've created myself. I am a thinker. I do think about things. But a lot of the information which I'm giving you now, it's all in books. It's not something that I've created.
I feel like a lot of people know this information you're saying, but very few apply it.
They don't act on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. That's why.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. Look, maybe not. One interesting thing, for example, do they know or do they care? Maybe they don't care, because I was just thinking, one of my thoughts, you have that video that came out years ago from that Korean dance, what is it, Gangnam Style?
Yeah, sign.
Yeah.
That reached 1 billion views or something, probably 2 billion by now. Everyone loved it. Good tune. I don't think I've danced to it.
Yeah, these ones.
That one. That had like 1 billion views in the first year, something like that. Some crazy.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
I didn't know the words to it. I don't know what he was singing about. It just sounded good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Compared to an educational video like the one we saw by Napoleon Hill on The Secret on how to live a successful life. That had like maybe 30,000 views.
Yeah.
So people are not looking
For things.
for valuable things to better themselves.
Why do you think that is?
Because you're surrounded by pleasurable items, so you expect pleasure to happen on its own. People think that pleasure is something that's owed to them. You know, you're owed. You know, we haven't starved in Australia. We haven't had any wars here. We haven't had anything. So we're all comfortable. You know, and all we're thinking about is, you know, we get onto our phones and we see, oh, I've got this bar, and we see this beautiful food. Everyone's taking photos of food, taking photos of drinks. You know, I don't know. How's that productive?
Yeah.
You need to be productive. You've got to produce something.
It's so easy to get sucked into that, though.
If you don't have someone to show you the way, you know, for example, if you want, it's easier if you're surrounded by people in business for you to get into business. Yeah. You won't be as scared because you see other people doing it. If you're surrounded by people that are interested in going out to bars and whatever, then you probably end up more like that. Yeah. Okay. If you're depending on your surroundings, you know what I mean? And you said to me, Tellan, oh, geez, George just looks so much like you. That's because he spends time with me. Yeah, of course. So we discuss things, and I explain ideas to him. And then he explains it to me after. After, probably. Of course. What do you think we do when we walk? Yeah, but it's all valuable. It's valuable lessons. Sometimes it's good not to know too many lessons, but you don't want that to become a stumbling or a block to getting started. You know what I mean? You get caught up in just learning. Yeah, you don't want to get your what if. You don't want to get stuck in that. That's like a very, it's like you're tied down, you know what I mean? And you can only go, like the dog can only go 5 meters from where he's tied down to.
Yeah.
That's what ifs do to you. What ifs? They put a chain on your neck and they tell you can only go 5 meters. So those what ifs are very, very dangerous. You got to get rid of them. So that's the danger of knowing too much, right? Because you'll consider all possibilities.
Yeah.
But you got to be outsmart that. You're going to outsmart your brain that you know there are dangers, but still, what's the point of living? You know what I mean? You've got to go past that point. But it's good to know. It's good to know, but not to be governed by the what ifs. It's good to know about them, but not to be governed by them.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Far out.
Read more books. That's my advice to everyone out there.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Having said that, I haven't read a good book for a while.
Have you read *Sapiens*? That's a good book.
I think, did I read that? It is familiar.
Yuval Noah Harris is the author.
Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe is it a new one or is it a few years back?
Like 2014, I think.
Yeah, I might even have it actually. Yeah.
I think George said he might have read it as well because I told him.
I read a lot of autobiographies of business people.
Yeah. Okay.
I think those that gives you a bit of the
inside
of what they how they start and all that.
The journey, the journey, the bad looking things before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you won't get that from reading Donald Trump's book, but which I've read, and he doesn't give you any information whatsoever.
Yeah,
that's just a money making machine.
Yes. Donald Trump doesn't give you any information at all.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I think
that's a good place.
That's a good place to end it. I think.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on, Terry. We really appreciate it.
That was very good, Terry. That was a lot of gems for me to think about.
I'm going to go have a chat to my papa about all this.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you.
Bye.